Monday, July 29th. I'm Gary Collins.
And I'm Beth Ruyak. And what did you dream about last night?
Yeah, I'd like to know, what did you dream about? Are your dreams getting better, by the way?
You know what? Surprisingly, I'm having very peaceful dreams, considering we're moving cross country, new job, new surroundings, but it must mean that everything's fine.
Yeah, but before the show, did you have some real corkers?
Like you, those anxiety dreams where you're on stage or you forget your lines.
I'll share a dream with you won't believe. No, I have these wonderful crisis dreams. I don't know why.
We can't wait to hear about it a little later on. Also coming up, though, in our show, are artificial sweeteners worth the risk? A doctor and a representative of the NutraSweet Corporation will talk about the benefits and also the drawbacks.
The world-famous Flying Karamazov brothers are here to show us all how easy it is to say their name and learn how to juggle.
You can get a good tax break on savings bonds, but there are certain rules you have to follow. Jane Bryant Quinn will fill you in.
The movie The Doctor is based on a real doctor who became a cancer patient and got a dose of his own medicine. We'll talk to the doctor and to the film's director.
Mary Emmerling wrote the book on country decorating, and Kitty Bartholomew will show you Mary's own country home.
And consumer reporter Bebe Emerman joins us today, and she's going to take us on a tour of a brand new shopping market built entirely out of recycled materials.
For kids. Some people call them lifesavers. Some people call these things tools for drug dealers. Recently, San Francisco officials tried to ban children from using beepers throughout the city, but that vote was deadlocked. Now, the issue will be voted on again this afternoon. And in San Francisco today is Supervisor Jim Gonzalez, who proposed the ban, along with Supervisor Angela Alioto, who is against it. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Beth.
Supervisor Gonzalez, I'll let you go first and tell me why exactly you proposed the ban and why you want beepers out of the kids' hands.
This came at the request of neighbors who frankly are tired of teenagers running drug supermarkets till 3 a.m. in the morning and basically terrorizing the neighborhood. And when they try to call the police, they're signaled by beepers and they leave and come back whenever the police aren't there.
And yet, sitting aside of you, Supervisor Alioto has 4 children who use the beepers for quite different and quite safe reasons.
She's talking about your children.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Okay.
No, I can't hear you yet. I mean, you're really far in the background. What was the question about the kids?
Well,
I do have 4 children, and
use beepers.
All 4 of my children do have beepers. One of them's had it for the last 4 years, and the other 3 for the last 2.5.
In regards to why you are opposing the situation, and perhaps, Mr. Gonzalez, you can help me here if she can't hear the question, all right?
I'll try to help, sure.
Okay. Would you say that the majority of beepers, however, are being used by children for drug traffic, and a small minority are being used, in your case, for other family reasons?
She's asking the question as to whether the majority of beepers are used for drug dealing, or is it used for a situation like yours, keeping in touch?
Beth, I think that beepers are used for a lot of reasons today. A lot of them are used as a status symbol. I went out to the projects a couple of weeks ago and spent actually 2 afternoons there, and I met over 80 children under the age of 18 years old that in fact were carrying beepers, and there's absolutely no way I'm going to believe that every single one of those children is dealing drugs. The problem is drugs. The problem is not beepers, which is a means of communication. I just have real difficulty in believing that banning beepers for anyone under 18 years old is going to do anything to the drug trafficking that's going on.
But let me say to you that the police chief of the city is no longer opposed to this ordinance. Also, in 5 different cities across the country, including San Francisco, they are banned in schools, and the schools say it has effectively reduced some of the drug traffic. So it does seem to have a benefit to it, does it not?
I think it does have a benefit to it. I think that what we're seeing is that drug dealers are hiding behind teenagers, and it's a cowardly thing. And I think that what we as public policymakers throughout the country have to look at is say, here we have a situation where people are cowardly hiding behind teenagers, and they're using them for a marketing and distribution scheme. We've got to do something. We've got to take the fatal combination of beepers, teenagers, and drug dealers and break it up. And my law would only be in effect for 2 years. Let's try something rather than do nothing.
It is, of course, a First Amendment right, and the ACLU is, of course, opposing the ban. Mr. Gonzalez, could you ask Supervisor Alioto for me to raise her point about the feeling that she thinks the beeper ban will be used to harass kids?
She says that the ACLU is still opposed, and what are your constitutional problems? Do you think it will be used to harass youth?
Oh, there's absolutely no question in my mind that it will be used against our youth, specifically our minorities. I've had many conversations with our police department on this, and as a matter of fact, the letter from the chief of police that I originally received stated that this would result in many harassment cases against our officers. I have not heard that the chief of police has rescinded that, that letter, nor his stand on the issue. Well, be that as it may, I'm being told that he has. The thing here is that we have a curfew law that 11 o'clock anyone under 18 years old has to be at home. That curfew law, if you look at who's arrested under that curfew law, 92% of the arrestees are black, Latino, or Asian. Okay, the law is used to break up gangs, to break up groups of people that the police officers are having problems with. The police are frustrated, the city's frustrated. A child is sitting there speaking to a police officer and his beeper goes off, and if the officer subjectively feels there's an intent to commit a crime, then the officer is going to be able to stop that child, take the beeper away, and or attempt to prove whatever intent to prove the crime that goes along with this legislation is there. I want to point something out.
Let me interject at a certain point. I mean, I think that the ACLU and the opposition, they're frankly exercising kind of like an intellectual colonialism. They know what's better for minority neighborhoods. Well, the fact is that this legislation came out of minority neighborhoods. It came out of the Bayview Hunters Point, at the Western Addition, and the Mission District, where people are frankly saying, let's try something rather than do nothing. And I think that the ACLU really thinks that they can tell the African-American communities what's better for them, that they know what's better for them than those own communities.
Mr. Gonzalez, the Supervisor Sadio does raise an interesting point. How do you enforce this? Even the Lawyers Guild says it's virtually impossible the way it's written to enforce this kind of a ban.
Well, the Lawyers Guild suffers from the same, as I said, intellectual colonialism that the ACLU. Frankly, this law can be enforced very simply. If a young person, it's just like the seatbelt law. If a young person is committing a crime, the police can say, where'd you get that beeper? And if they don't have a legitimate reason, because my bill does have exemptions for parents, employers, and medical personnel. If that young person can't prove that he has a legitimate reason for using it, it gets taken away. This law does not get kids arrested for having beepers. This law only gets beepers taken away. And I think that the questions of harassment would be there if you would get arrested. But no one's getting arrested under this law. The bill is just being, just if you're doing something wrong, it'll be taken away if you haven't got your parents' permission.
Well, at this point, not everybody is agreeing with you. The vote last time around was deadlocked. There will be a vote again this afternoon. I thank you both for joining us, and I do apologize for the technical difficulties in trying to hear us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Up next, the first shopping market that was built entirely of recycled materials.
Consumer reporter Bebe Emerman is in Atlanta with some good news about environmental issues. Good morning, Bebe.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
I'm fine. It appears from everything we hear here at home that most Americans are willing to pay that extra to have an environmentally safe world.
Yes, absolutely. Recent polls show that 90% or close to 90% of Americans are really concerned about the environmental impact their purchases have on the world. Many of them would be willing to get rid of convenience foods. Some would even be willing to boycott manufacturers whose products are detrimental to the environment. So I think manufacturers really need to start to realize how serious people are about this issue.
All right, this weekend, Bebe was at the new Fred Segal for a Better Ecology marketplace, and here's what she found.
Ecology bills itself as the nation's first environmental shopping center. 14 vendors under one roof selling everything from clothes made of pesticide-free cotton to recycled motor oil for your car to briefcases constructed of used inner tubes.
Yeah, I like the idea that it's a shopping center, but it doesn't feel like a shopping center. It feels more like an open-air market.
I think the products are nice, but many of them have a lot of style, the kinds of things that you would want to wear.
Although the main emphasis here is obviously shopping, you can learn things too. Want to know more about recycling? Visit the Ecology Information Center for free literature, where the environmental outfitters can show you how to build a house with non-toxic materials. Michael Segal says this unusual shopping center actually began life as a rundown employment office full of hazardous materials.
It had drop ceilings with toxic insulation. It had asphaltic tiles on the floor. It was a real mess. And we came in and we took out the drop ceiling in most of the building, and we added 22 skylights, created a whole natural light. We used all non-toxic paints inside and out. And we took that asphaltic tile, sandblasted it off, and we left the floor as you see it.
Today, the center is light, airy, and user-friendly. It is also a proving ground for new products like Estee Lauder's new Origin line of cosmetics, which come in recyclable containers and aren't tested on animals. By and large, prices are reasonable, but a few things do sort of jump out at you, like these $6 pencils and this $98 Egyptian cotton bed sheet. Tell the truth now, isn't this just a great way to sell stuff?
In order to have a accelerated compounding improvement in our society towards caring for our planet, it needs to be profitable. But at the same time, we could learn to be more caring.
Although the people who put together this center say they're not in it for the money, there's no doubt ecology sells. A recent poll showed that 87% of Americans would be willing to pay more for products that are environmentally correct. Problem is, though, trying to figure out what is and what isn't easy sometimes. We asked Dennis Hayes, the mastermind of Earth Day and the president of Green Seal, a non-profit group that evaluates the environmental impact of consumer products, to take a look around. Over here, we've got disposable diapers, but it says here that it's biodegradable. Is it really biodegradable as a practical matter?
Well, it's about 92% biodegradable under the right conditions. The plastic in it will not biodegrade. If you were to put it in a landfill where it's dry and protected from the elements, this could remain pretty much intact for the next 15 or 20 years.
All in all, though, Fred Segal for A Better Ecology gets high marks.
There are an awful lot of people who don't want to wear hair shirts, don't want to go stand nude in a stream and not eat anything except sort of organically grown rice, but who do want to do something good for the environment. And this is a store that's really designed for those, that are prepared to do some things and to edge in and take more and more and more steps as they go on.
In the meantime, the experts say just because a product says it's green, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is. They say consumers still need to be suspicious of extravagant claims and read labels carefully, but even a little conservation goes a long way.
Americans threw away enough aluminum every 3 months to replace our commercial aircraft fleet. We used enough electricity in our light bulbs that if we had substituted the most efficient bulbs, you could dispose of maybe 50 large nuclear power plants. We threw away enough motor oil after using it once in our cars to be the equivalent of 16 Exxon Valdezes. I mean, each person does only a little bit, but you aggregate that times the entire population of the country, and it makes a huge difference.
Bebe, those statistics are staggering, and I'm sure that people are going to take advantage of this environmental consciousness that we all have. But the key here is the message. What about the traffic at the mall? Busy?
Well, it started off to be kind of slow, but as the day went on, it got actually quite busy. A lot of people were curious, and most everybody seemed to be very enthusiastic about it. One of the nice things about it is that, as Mr. Hayes said, they sell things that you actually want to buy there, not things, not hair shirts and difficult type things. And the Fred Segal people are encouraging other people who are interested in putting together ecologically correct shopping centers to come and take a look and learn how they did the construction and how they went about getting vendors there. So they're very open to trying to spread the word, and the word is being spread. There are other kinds of shopping areas and individual stores like this that are popping up all over the country, including one here in Atlanta.
Good news. Thank you, Bebe Emerman from Atlanta. Next, meet the real-life inspiration behind the new film that shows doctors what it's really like to be a patient.
Ow! Ow! What are you doing?
Later, Jane Bryant Quinn with the simple steps you need to get a tax break on savings bonds. If you have ever felt that doctors are cold and insensitive, then a new movie called The Doctor is exactly for you because it turns the tables on the doctor-patient relationships. Take a look.
In The Doctor, William Hurt plays Jack McKee, a successful heart surgeon who developed throat cancer.
Doctor, you have a growth. What is it, Jack?
A lesion in the throat.
In dealing with his cancer, Jack suddenly becomes an ordinary patient in his own hospital.
Name? I've been an attending surgeon on the staff of this hospital for 11 years.
Then you should know all about filling in forms. You were late getting here.
I was not late getting here. Radiology was late with my MRI.
If you want to shout, go shout at a doctor.
I am a doctor.
Not when you're sitting here.
Shouldn't there be a lead apron?
Really, you don't need it, Doc. But don't move.
Ultimately, Jack learns the difference between truly caring for a patient and merely treating one.
I think you ought to brush up your act, Dr. Abbott. Because today I'm sick. Tomorrow or the day after, 30 years from now, you will be sick. Every doctor becomes a patient somewhere down the line, and then it'll hit you as hard as it's hit me.
Randa Haines is the director of the film. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Your last movie was Children of a Lesser God. Why did you wait? Were you waiting for a script? Were you waiting for another good role for William Hurt?
Well, it seems like I need to feel really connected to the material that I work on, and I was waiting to really fall in love with another piece of material, and this one was it.
In a couple different ways, there were some ironies about this script and this movie coming at you at this point in your life, and some of your own personal experiences that tied to it. Can you share those with us?
Well, when I first read the script, I was the same age that my mother was when she died of cancer. So I had a lot of feelings about doctors and hospitals and cancer treatment. And in a way, this story, dealing with some of that, was a chance for me perhaps to make some peace with my own fears and demons.
Well, I'm going to bring on a friend of yours, and that is Dr. Edward Rosenbaum, who is joining us this morning. He is the author of A Taste of My Own Medicine, and this is the book in which the movie is based. Good morning, Dr. Rosenbaum.
Good morning.
William Hurt is a much younger man in the movie than you were when you had this experience. In actuality, you were, I believe, 70 years old?
That's right.
Did some of your transformation perhaps come from the wisdom of your age as opposed to the experience?
No, I'd practiced medicine for 50 years. I'd never really had a major illness. And over the years, some of my patients would do things that I thought were hilarious. And I collected these anecdotes with the idea of writing a book about them someday. Then suddenly I became ill. And then I realized I was doing the same silly things that my patients were doing. And it dawned on me that the patients were reacting in a normal human manner, and that some of the things they were doing were precipitated by what we as doctors were doing.
Your own wife, you write about, had gone through cancer, in fact, 2 different cancer bouts 10, 15 years earlier, but even that experience didn't so dramatically change the way you handled your own patients?
No, because that was my wife, and then I was a doctor. When I would walk into the hospital with her, I got, quote, the proper respect. But when I became a patient, after they registered me, they even forgot to put MD after my name.
Randa, in the movie, William Hurt plays a heart surgeon, and you use that for a specific person, whereas Dr. Rosenbaum is an expert in arthritis. Why did you make that switch?
Well, there's something truly godlike about surgeons. I mean, we made this character a man who literally holds life and death in his hands. He puts people's hearts sit in his hands. And the transformation of someone who starts out literally as a god and then so his whole world flips upside down and suddenly finds himself down in the bowels of the hospital receiving treatment, looking up at the doctors instead of down at the patients. That was such a dramatic change.
I love this movie, but I think doctors and nurses are going to like it because it's so technically accurate. During the heart surgery, you actually see the heart as it starts its beating. Was your research extensive, more so than maybe for other films?
Yes, we made a commitment early on to have everything as real and true as it could be, because I think an audience feels that even if they don't know. And often, there's, for example, the scene you refer to where there's a heart transplant, Bill Hurt is the only actor in the room. All the people playing nurses and the anesthesiologist, they're all real people.
Dr. Rosenbaum, I want to give you the opportunity to be as critical as you want to be here in front of your friend, the director. But how did you feel about the movie when it was actually done?
I think that she is one of the great directors in the industry. It's unbelievable. 7 Rosenbaum doctors attended the cast and crew showing last week in Los Angeles. Every one of them were different specialists. Every one of them were impressed. My daughter-in-law, who's a cardiologist, sat next to me and cried through the entire movie. She had done a splendid job. I am amazed that she could have that much sensitivity and know what we were thinking.
Those Rosenbaums include a number of sons that you have, your brother, as you said, your daughters-in-law. Have you been able to pass this lesson on, or is this understanding something that can only come through an experience?
No, I think I've been able to pass the lesson on. Since the book appeared, I am amazed about how many hospitals have made changes in their procedures and their reactions to patients.
You write about multiple opinions. In fact, it's almost comical. Story after story about seeing this doctor and that doctor. You are a doctor, so give our audience some first-hand advice at this moment.
Well, I think that if the patient isn't doing well, they should ask for a second opinion. If the patient doesn't like their doctor, they should ask for a second opinion. If they are given a poor prognosis, they should ask for a second opinion. I think that the patient has to recognize that they today have certain rights and that doctors now recognize their rights.
Amen. Randa, the movie is terrific. Everybody should see it, doctor or not, medical experience or not. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Dr. Rosenbaum, thank you very much, and good luck as your career continues.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Well, coming up, how to get a tax break with your savings bond.
Now, a minute ago, he was juggling, and then you put the lemons down. Go ahead, because in our next half hour, we're juggling with the Karamazovs. We'll be right back.
She loves.
Welcome back. It's Monday, July 29. I'm Beth Ruyak.
And I'm Gary Collins. Coming up, the debate over artificial sweeteners continues. Two experts will give you the pros and cons.
And we'll visit the beautiful country home of designer Mary Emerman, who's considered the leading authority on country decor.
What a house. Yeah. And learn how easy it is to juggle from the world-famous Flying Karamazov brothers. Right now, though, Beth is joining Jane Bryant Quinn for some financial advice that will help you save money on your taxes.
Americans are now buying record amounts of Series EE savings bonds, $694 million worth in June, which was the highest June mark since 1945. Now, this may all be due to patriotism, or it could be due to the 6.57% interest rate, or perhaps the tax break if you're saving for your children's education. However, you don't get that particular tax break unless you follow all the rules, and Jane Bryant Quinn is going to explain them all. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning, Beth.
How much money do I need to buy one of these bonds?
Well, you know, this program was begun for the very smallest saver, so I have brought the basic rules for people. You can buy a savings bond for as little as $25. That's a very minimum investment. You can buy them at banks and savings and loans normally. You can also buy them through payroll deduction plans at work. Now, that interest rate you mentioned, 6.57%, is a variable rate. It changes every 6 months. And that interest rate is tax deferred. Normally, you don't have to pay taxes on your interest until you cash the bond in.
What about the connection here to college savings plan and making sure you don't get the taxes attached to it?
Well, this is something that the government started quite recently, and before I go on to those rules, Beth, I do want to make it very clear which bonds it applies to. If you have a savings bond that you bought before January 1990, you do not get this tax break that I'm about to describe. It applies only to bonds that were bought more recently, since January 1990. If you bought the bonds since then, your bonds can be entirely tax exempt for college savings. And here are those rules. To get this college tax break, you have to buy the bond in the name of the parent. A child can be a beneficiary, a child can be a co-owner, but you cannot have a beneficiary. A child cannot be an owner or a co-owner. That's very, very important. The parent has to be at least 24 years old. The bond has to be cashed in for college education or higher education. That can also be a vocational school or a technical school. And you, at the time you cash the bond in, you have to meet an income requirement. You have to be middle income or upper middle income. And Beth, I know I've waffled a little bit on that final rule about middle or upper middle income, but the rules are rather complex. You'll just have to take my word for it that any middle American is going to be able to get that tax break.
Jane, what if I'm the parent, I buy the bond in my name, but I'm the one going back to college? Does it still hold true?
It sure does. As long as you're 24 years old enough, you can buy the bond for yourself, for your own education. However, Beth, this is something that's very important. With a savings bond, you do not get the full interest rate they promised you unless you hold the bond for at least 5 years. If you cash the bond in any earlier, you're going to get a much lower rate of interest. So a lot of adults who are saving for their own education will probably go to school before 5 years are up. So maybe for them, the savings bond is not so terrific.
Yeah, since you raised that point, I know there are zero coupon bonds, there are trust funds, there are all kinds of options with regard to paying for college. Would you recommend this as the best or just one of those out in the mix?
Well, it is not my favorite way of saving for college, to tell you the truth. A 6.57% interest rate is okay, but college inflation is running at 7, 8, 9%. So I don't think that the savings bonds are ultimately going to keep up for you. My preference for a young child would be to buy the child some shares in a stock-owning mutual fund and hold that for 10 or 15 years rather than to buy a savings bond. I think that with a mutual fund, you're going to have a lot more money than you'll have from a savings bond over that period of time. However, Beth, as you know, as I know, there are many people who are not sure about mutual funds, who would rather not own them, and for them, the savings bond is now much better since it has this wonderful tax break that's attached to it. You can also get some very good free information about these savings bonds from the government. They have 2 free pamphlets I want to tell you about. One is called a Q&A, and it is a book about savings bonds, and you can get it. Send a postcard, please, not a letter. They asked me specifically to say postcard. Office of Public Affairs, U.S. Savings Bond Division, Washington, D.C., 20226. And there is another free booklet they have at that same address called U.S. Savings Bonds, Now Tax-Free for Education.
Okay. Thanks, Jane. Have a nice Monday.
Thanks a lot, Beth.
We'll be right back, and we'll talk about the benefits and drawbacks of artificial sweeteners.
Ever since 1981, when artificial sweeteners hit the market, there's been controversy. Americans now consume more than 800 million pounds of it each year. It is 200 times as sweet as sugar, and it's found in 1,200 or so products. Now, while it does not promote tooth decay, the question remains, is it too good to be true? Dr. Robert Moser is Vice President of Medical Affairs for the NutraSweet Corporation. First of all, Doctor, give us an idea of the spectrum of this aspartame involvement.
Well, Gary, aspartame NutraSweet is now consumed and enjoyed by about 100 million Americans. We estimate 200 million people worldwide on a daily basis. It's now approved by the regulatory agencies of over 94 countries, and we think that it's in about 4,000 products worldwide. And of course, it's been a boon to people who are seriously trying to make a lifestyle change so that they can accommodate to a healthful lifestyle with proper nutrition, proper exercise, etc. And of course, it's been a wonder for diabetic patients who are now able to enjoy sweet things and still comply with their diet.
Now, I indicated 1,200 or so. You're saying 4,000.
Worldwide.
There are products out there we're just not aware of, but they contain this
internationally
stuff?
In other countries.
All right, so soft drinks, it's even into medicines and...
It's in some vitamins, medicines, it's in yogurts, it's in some ice cream, it's in some candies, jellos, puddings, yogurts, things like that. It's in a wide variety of packets.
How much testing goes into something like aspartame? Now, I also understand that there was the issue of saccharin had reared its ugly head in this particular consideration. That's why so much testing was done. But just how much testing has gone into aspartame?
That's absolutely right. The FDA was concerned after the saccharin and cyclamate trouble and literally insisted on very meticulous testing of aspartame before it came to market. Over 100 studies were done in animals of species up to and including subhuman primates, monkeys, and then over 50 studies were done in a variety of people. Normal people, diabetics who are insulin dependent, non-insulin dependent, fat people, people with end-stage kidney disease, etc. And in all of these studies, clinical studies and animal studies, the FDA concluded that aspartame was safe and therefore has allowed it to stay on the American market. We've been in the business now for 10 years, so we're no longer the new kid on the block.
All right, Dr. Moser, now let's turn to Waterville, Maine, and sitting in studio is a staunch opponent of aspartame. He is Dr. H.J. Roberts. He's written a book titled Aspartame, is it safe? Regardless of how many tests, Dr. Roberts, that does not satisfy you, am I correct?
No, the tests essentially were not done in humans in any extensive scale before it was approved by the FDA. And not only that, but some very important studies in the mid-1970s showing a high incidence of brain tumors were allowed, the statute of limitations were allowed to expire. And the top FDA scientists and a public board of inquiry in 1980 recommended that aspartame not be approved for use by the general public.
Dr. Roberts, how many people are affected, do you believe, by, or at least have an adverse reaction to aspartame?
I think hundreds of thousands at least. What has basically happened is that a genie has been released not out of the bottle, but out of a chemical laboratory, because aspartame initially was intended as a drug for the treatment of peptic ulcer. And this has become, in my opinion, a major subtle epidemic. Many physicians are not even aware of it or don't want to know about it, but I suspect that the majority of physicians who take care of people encounter this daily in their practice in one of the many ways in which it can show itself.
All right, now Dr. Roberts has indicated hundreds of thousands. Your reaction to that?
Well, I've known Dr. Roberts for a long time, Gary, and this is another example of a rather outrageous and alarming comment that he's made repeatedly. The book that he is talking about was roundly panned by a reviewer in the New England Journal of Medicine because of its lack,
no experience.
Just a second, Dr. Roberts. You'll have a chance for rebuttal.
Yeah. In fact, in Dr. Roberts' book, which is replete with anecdotes, allegations, Dr. Roberts' opinion, which is what you've just heard, he has never conducted one controlled scientific study, and nothing like that appears anywhere in his book. The book is a great embarrassment to most physicians, and that's why the New England Journal reviewed it in such a way as to thoroughly discredit it in any sense. And I think that Dr. Roberts should really be embarrassed for the profession for having published a book and scared the dickens out of the American public unnecessarily.
Dr. Roberts?
Well, I think it's Dr. Moser who should be embarrassed. He is a physician who is working for a drug company, and he obviously has vested interest in the matter. To point out this matter of anecdotes, idiosyncrasies, more than 80% of the complaints that the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, receives about food and additives involve products containing aspartame. They've received well over 5,000 complaints for consumers who volunteer this. Now, this is an additive. It's not a drug, so therefore physicians do not have to approve this. As far as the so-called scientific studies, I reviewed the vast majority of the scientific studies, the so-called double-blind studies, and in my opinion, virtually all of them were flawed. The protocols were flawed because they were not dealing with the real world. The real world of aspartame means you buy a product, a diet drink or something in a market, and then you consume it. The way these individuals were tested was they were given capsules of aspartame or freshly prepared drinks in cool, ice-cold water, which did away with the great problems with aspartame,
Dr. Roberts, you're getting
storage and heat.
All right, you're getting a little technical for us. Is it safe to say, though, that investigations continue into the use of aspartame and that many of these complaints are investigated by responsible parties, physicians, etc.?
Well, I'm continuing to investigate them, especially in two main areas. That of confusion and memory loss with the potential for possibly aggravating or even possibly initiating Alzheimer's disease, and now the problem of brain tumors.
All right, thank you, sir. And obviously, if you do have a reaction to anything that contains aspartame, please seek a physician's opinion. Thank you, Dr. Moser. I'm afraid we're out of time.
Oh, I.
Thank you.
Bad.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Next, the beautiful country home of designer Mary Emmerling.
Kitty Bartholomew joining us now, and you went to your new best friend's house.
Oh, is she a hoot? I'm telling you, Mary Emmerling is so wonderful. She is a decorator and an author of so many books on American country living, whether it be gardening or home furnishings. And I visited Mary's Long Island home to see how she created a country-style decor to fit her own all-American lifestyle.
A trip to Mary's house in Sagaponack, New York, shows she practiced what she preaches. The house, really a barn transported from Vermont, is a delightful mix of Western, country, chintz, and Americana.
Kitty, I really want you to see the kitchen. It's my favorite room in any home.
Oh, it's very cozy. Now, it's not very large, and you do have lots of items, but I like what you've done with them. You've stacked them, whether it's the cutting boards or the bowls, and even created space over your window, which is really
And I do shelves over doorways, too. I think it's unused space. And then for parties, I love putting everything in little containers, so you just take it away, and then I make this into the buffet for a party.
And this is not really a permanent island. It's just a wonderful table that moves and has great storage underneath. And who would think to put a wastebasket right in the middle of the floor, but why not if
really
it's stored inside a wonderful old wicker basket? And I love this wonderful bench over there with the quilt pillows on it. It's very cozy and old world.
Well, you know, I find old pieces of fabric, old curtains from the 20s at flea markets, and I mix it with old beacon blankets and quilt pieces and use it on benches and around the house.
And that wonderful round wicker table is perfect over in the corner to showcase your flags.
It's a great little area of the kitchen.
Great. Well, now I'm anxious to see your great room. It's around the corner, and I can see it's going to be great.
This is my favorite room in the whole house.
Well, I can see why. This is obviously the original barn with these huge tall ceilings, and you're so lucky to have a loft up there.
Well, don't you love in barns the textures? You get all the bleached wood and the beams, and I just love all the textures in country. And I love the beam over the fireplace and the brick.
Oh, I do too. And tell me, it looks as though it could be an old wire fence.
It's just a fence. I thought it'd be perfect for a fire screen.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I even like using books as a side table next to sofas and stuff. I stack benches and I use them as a bookcase because a lot of people can't afford to build a bookcase.
Mary's idea for a bar table, 2 blue sawhorses and a sheet of glass, topped with barware and collectibles. She even has a picnic table and benches as a dining room table. One of Mary's biggest themes is open storage. Objects stacked and grouped everywhere. In Mary's office in the balcony, her files are in open baskets.
I have baskets full of family photos. I never have time to get the pictures into the photo album, so this way I just throw them in a basket until I can.
Even in the bedroom, she keeps clothing on pegs and in baskets or on the tops of tables. For Mary, country decor is a way of life. And country decor can extend to the outside. Collections of color and objects by the patio and pool. How about this for a Mary Emerling-style patio umbrella? It covers a picnic table where all the chairs are different colors. Not far away, the pool area is surrounded not by flowers, but by rows of corn. It makes a great windbreak.
I'm noticing that you've got a screen door and a window and a wall.
Isn't it fun?
Unusual.
And it's from a Vermont farmhouse. I love the color of the red, don't you?
I do too, but it needs a squeak, Mary.
You're right, you're right.
This is super, having a window and a wall. You can even see the sunflowers from the house.
Isn't it pretty? And I love this, Kitty. This is just a hole in the wall, but it's a little birdhouse.
Just add a perch.
Right, exactly.
It seems everything at Mary's has a little extra touch of texture, a mix of patterns.
I hope that's what the books and magazines, have taught people to really mix, because it's very important and it gives it your own personal touch.
Now I think your blouse must be in Mary's honor today. Flags will be her next theme, one of her next books.
Yes, she has a couple books coming out in the fall, and Flags is one of them.
Thanks, it was beautiful.
Thank you. We'll be right back, and up next, juggling with the Karamazov brothers. The home decorating segment brought to you by Ethan Allen for a very important part of the world called home.
The Flying Karamazov brothers have entertained millions, and although they don't actually fly, and they're not really Russian, in fact, they aren't even brothers. Boy, can they juggle, though.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our first incredible feat, we would like to perform the famous Six Blazing Torches trick. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now, what this trick entails is the simultaneous ignition and jugglery of 6 blazing torches.
Which is where the name of the trick comes from.
However, before we can perform this exceedingly difficult trick, we must first have one essential element of audience precipitation. Without said element, we cannot possibly perform this trick. Anybody got a light?
A match?
Flint and steel.
2 Boy Scouts we can rub together.
Is there a sadist in the house?
A pyromaniac?
High school student? A talk show host. There's one. Join us center stage.
Oh, okay.
Stand right here on this imaginary cross.
Yes.
Right there. Face
Okay.
the camera and wait
All
for
right.
your cue while we shake off the excess gasoline.
All over your clothes.
In Domini Spiritu Patrime.
Hey, this stuff is real.
In Jamlito ergo sum. Amen. Now don't be nervous.
I'm not.
We just gave you your last rites.
And left.
We're ambidextrous. That's your cue, like the furry stuff, not us.
Okay, here, I brought this. All right, here we are.
Okay.
Whoa! It's real. I was afraid of that. Graham, this is our show.
Get up, play your friend.
Here we go. The 6 blazing torches trick. 6 blazing torches exchanged at once. Ready. Hup, hup.
I can't watch.
Oh, hey, it's harder than it looks.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to attempt to do the very same trick while juggling.
What?
Oh, you can do
They
it.
really like that. Look at all those happy people out there.
No. We ought to do it the hard way for our own edification.
Okay, Dimitri, pretend you're an editor. Oh, how about the Empire State Building on the 2nd day of Hanukkah?
Now, look, let's just like it.
Hanukkah,
No. Pretend you have an edifice complex.
Oh, all right.
Wait, no, I'm not your father.
Then I'm not your mother either. We're brothers, of course. Who could miss that family resemblance?
Look at that profile.
Okay, here we go. Ready. Hup, hup, ho. Ooh, ow, burn, scorch, hot, cauterize.
Amazing. Why do they do it?
Capitalistic reasons.
Oh,
Precisely.
that's right. I forgot.
Ho.
You know, ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
this is my very favorite part of the trick
come
right
back
here. What?
Stand right there. Yeah.
You think you're excited? Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Hey. Yep.
Ho! Ho!
You're in.
Hey, the brothers Karamazov.
See ya.
Hi, guys. Listen, why don't you introduce yourselves, all right?
We've already met.
No. Come on, I want some names.
Howard Patterson, Sam Williams, Paul McGee, Timothy First.
I understand somebody was reading the novel, The Brothers Karamazov. That's where you
which
got
we
the
in
name
fact
from.
have done a musical comedy version of.
Okay. Beth, where's Beth Ruyak? Come on in here.
Yes, we have a new
They
video.
have a new video.
Now the trouble's going to begin. I know it.
Yes, now comes the easy
She's been driving me crazy this morning about this juggling. She wants to do it. You've got a new
Okay.
video.
We have a new instructional video
Yeah.
called
Okay.
How to Juggle and Other Matters of Life and Death, and
I'm
an
ready.
800 number, 1-800-FLY-9000. Just start.
Okay.
Okay. I'll put this over here where it's perfectly safe. Start with one ball. Just
One
one.
ball,
Start with
one
one.
ball.
Start with one.
I'm
Okay.
doing it your way.
Here, one. Okay. First step, you
Hello,
throw
guys.
one ball back and forth.
Excellent.
From hand to hand, and an arc goes up to the top of your head. Perfect.
Okay.
Second step,
All right.
one in each hand. That was actually very good. Put one in each hand.
Thank
Do the
you.
same. Wait, don't do that. Wait until I tell you what to do. Okay, so the first one up, it stops at the top of its arc, and
Yeah.
then go the second one up in an arc to the same height as the first,
Okay.
like this. 1, 2, catch. Oh,
One, two,
catch.
We
Now,
did this at
don't-
St. Lucy
This is, we've got a
past
ringer.
year.
He knows what
Okay.
he's doing.
No, I
you're cheating.
I
That
received.
I
works.
cheated.
That works,
I
but it's what we
cheated.
call cheating. That's the technical term for that.
Sorry.
It's all right. That's right. One more time. 1, 2, catch. Some people get that instantly. Some take weeks or months to
No.
get it. Don't worry about it.
You know what?
Juggling isn't an indication of coordination or intelligence or anything else. All right, let's get on to 3.
Okay,
Indication
all
of
right.
juggling. And the third step. I'll take that one. Thank you. Same thing you just did. Put 2 in one hand, 1 in the other.
You catch
Start from the
them
hand
when
that
I
has 2.
throw
them. All right.
Go 1, 2, just as you did before you
1,
catch the
2.
second one, throw the third one, so
All
it goes
right.
1, 2, 3. Look, there he goes.
Oh!
Hey, all right. Fantastic. A new juggler
That's
is
great.
born.
Thank you, brothers Karamazov.
Thank you very
Take a look at their
much.
video. You might learn to juggle.
1-800-FLY-9000.
Now, if you're leaving us now, have a great day. If you're staying for the next half hour, there's a lot more coming your way.